At exactly 2:43 a.m. on September 12, 2025, the Russian Black Sea flagship Admiral K sat silently in the heart of Sevastopol's inner harbor, a fortress of steel and firepower worth over $120 million. Its hull reflected the pale moonlight, oblivious to the danger creeping closer with each wave. The vessel had just returned from a missile strike operation targeting Ukrainian positions near Mariupol and was now in resupply mode, refueling, checking electronic systems, and loading precision caliber cruise missile capable of striking Kiev from over 600 miles away. On deck, officers were gathered in casual conversation, some raising glasses of vodka in celebration, others rotating in shifts of vigilance. Yet just 7 miles offshore, a vessel disguised as a fishing boat glided silently across the dark waters. Inside, 2 Ukrainian special operations soldiers, dressed in Russian-style fishing jackets and caps, controlled the vessel with meticulous precision. Hidden beneath styrofoam crates of squid and herring were 2 FPV suicide drones, each armed with armor-piercing warheads, night vision cameras, and autonomous navigation systems independent of GPS. In less than 5 minutes, what seemed an ordinary fishing boat would transform into the launch platform for one of Ukraine's most daring naval operations, yet striking at the very heart of Russia's maritime power in the Sea of Azov. Before we dive into this intense operation, if you want to explore more high-stakes geopolitical developments and cutting-edge military operations, make sure to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis. Strategic context. Sevastopol has long stood as the crown jewel of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, a fortified harbor shielded by natural geography, layered air defenses, and decades of military infrastructure. Considered untouchable by adversaries, this port has been the nerve center for Russia's maritime dominance in the Black Sea and Azov regions. From here, massive warships launch precision missile strikes deep into Ukrainian territory, projecting power while maintaining what Moscow perceives as a secure buffer zone. Each vessel docked within the harbor is not just a ship, it is a floating fortress armed with cruise missiles, anti-air systems, and sophisticated electronic warfare suites. The very presence of these ships serves as a deterrent, reinforcing Russia's narrative of unassailable naval superiority. Yet, in recent years, Ukraine has demonstrated that even the most fortified bastions are not immune to asymmetric threats. Leveraging low-cost, high-precision unmanned vehicles, Ukrainian forces have begun to challenge the perception of invulnerability. These small, agile drones can operate below radar coverage, navigate narrow channels, and strike critical systems with surgical precision, all while costing a fraction of the multi-million-dollar warships they threaten. By 2025, the operational environment in the Sea of Azov posed significant constraints on Russian vessels. Shallow waters and narrow channels limited maneuverability, forcing large ships like the Admiral K into predictable routes. Constant surveillance by coastal radar and reconnaissance units created a sense of security, but also a blind spot for unconventional, low-altitude attacks. Ukraine's use of unmanned vehicles exploits these vulnerabilities, proving that technological innovation and tactical ingenuity can shift the balance of power, even against a numerically and technologically superior fleet. The stage was set. A heavily armed, floating fortress, thought invulnerable, faced a threat that was small, fast, and meticulously calculated. A weapon designed to strike precisely where conventional defenses could not reach. Planning the operation. The Ukrainian operation was not a spur-of-the-moment assault. It was the result of meticulous planning, precise intelligence, and calculated risk. Analysts from the Defense Intelligence Directorate had spent weeks monitoring the Black Sea Fleet's movements, analyzing radar patterns, patrol schedules, and crew rotation. Every nuance mattered: the timing of resupply missions, the rotation of radar operators, even the daily routines of commanding officers. Nothing was left to chance. The operation relied on a combination of stealth, speed, and technological superiority in unconventional warfare. Ukrainian strategists identified a narrow window when the target vessel, heavily armed yet constrained by the port's geography, would be most vulnerable. They planned to exploit the radar blind spots near the water's surface, using high-speed, low-altitude drones capable of bypassing traditional detection systems. The drones themselves were engineered for precision: fiberglass composite bodies with ultralight frames, low thermal signatures, and independent navigation modules. Each unit was programmed to execute a dual-strike approach, synchronized down to the second, maximizing impact on critical systems such as radar arrays and missile launchers. Coordination extended beyond the drones themselves. Special operations units provided reconnaissance from hidden coastal positions, feeding real-time data to command centers far inland. Operators rehearsed every maneuver virtually, simulating environmental conditions like sea currents, wind, and low-visibility night operations. Contingency plans were established. If one drone was detected or neutralized, the second would adapt in real time, guided by internal sensors and inertial navigation. This was not just an attack, it was a surgical operation, a test of Ukraine's ability to neutralize a multi-million-dollar floating fortress with minimal resources. Every decision, every movement, every second of preparation built toward a singular goal: to strike decisively, shatter complacency, and redefine the tactical boundaries of asymmetric maritime warfare. Execution of the attack. At exactly 3:20 a.m., the calm of Temryuk Bay was broken only by the faint hum of engines and the gentle lapping of waves. The Black Sea Fleet's Buyan-M warship rested at Pier 2, its radar systems active, missile payloads reloaded, and crew in rotation, some celebrating, some asleep at their stations. The port, considered a fortress by Russian command, was heavily monitored with Panzer S-1 close-in defense systems and Podlet K-1 radar arrays. Every approach vector was thought to be accounted for. Every blind spot considered negligible. Unseen, 6 miles away, a small speedboat cut silently through the water. Its exterior suggested a civilian fishing vessel. Inside, 2 Ukrainian soldiers from the 73rd Naval Center operated with precision, dressed in fisherman jackets and caps to avoid suspicion. Hidden beneath styrofoam boxes were 2 Beaver FPV drones, each equipped with armor-piercing warheads, night vision cameras, and autonomous navigation systems independent of GPS. At 3:27 a.m., as the speedboat reached the outer edge of the port's surveillance perimeter, the operators deployed the drones. Each took separate flight paths, calculated to maximize disruption. One targeted the radar tower to blind the ship. The other aimed at the central missile launcher, home to 8 Kalibr-NK cruise missiles. The drones skimmed just above the water, exploiting radar blind zones. In a synchronized sequence, the first UAV struck the radar mast, erupting in flames, sending sparks across the deck, and instantly disabling the ship's electronic eyes. Within 6 seconds, the second drone hit the missile launcher, detonating a controlled blast that ripped open the launch bay and ignited adjacent systems. Crew members scrambled in chaos. Fire suppression systems activated but could not contain the rapid damage. Within 7 minutes, the Buyan-M had lost both offensive and defensive capability, forced to withdraw to Sevastopol for emergency repairs. This operation, executed at a fraction of the cost of the target, showcased the devastating effectiveness of precision asymmetric warfare, redefining the strategic landscape of the Azov Sea and shaking the perception of Russian naval invulnerability. Tactical analysis and implications. The attack on the Buyan-M was more than a strike. It was a masterclass in asymmetric warfare, illustrating how small, inexpensive technologies can inflict disproportionate effects on high-value military assets. Analysts across Europe and North America immediately highlighted the operation as a turning point in modern naval combat, demonstrating that even heavily fortified ports are vulnerable when precision, timing, and unconventional tactics converge. The dual-drone approach exploited every known weakness in the Russian defensive setup. By first neutralizing the radar, Ukrainian forces created a temporary blind spot, removing early warning capabilities and disabling automated targeting systems. The second drone, armed with an 8-plug armor-piercing warhead, then struck the missile launcher directly, a critical node housing 8 Kalibr-NK cruise missiles capable of striking deep into Ukrainian territory. Within seconds, the ship's offensive and defensive capabilities were neutralized, all while the crew scrambled in confusion. Strategically, the operation forced a reassessment of naval dominance in shallow, confined waters like the Azov Sea. While Russia had assumed that large vessels like Buyan-M could operate with impunity, the attack revealed that mobility, low-cost UAVs, and precise coordination could offset superior firepower. Western military experts noted that the operation's cost-to-effect ratio, drones costing less than $2,000 each versus an $80 million warship, represents a paradigm shift in naval engagements. Beyond immediate material damage, the strike had psychological and operational consequences. Russian commanders now face a persistent, low-cost threat in previously secure rear areas. Planning for every naval operation must account for the possibility of undetected UAV incursions. This reshapes operational doctrine. Ports like Sevastopol are no longer invulnerable, and even high-value warships must operate under constant threat of unconventional attacks. Moreover, the operation signals a new era of hybrid naval warfare. Precision drones, rapid deployment, and real-time intelligence fusion mean that smaller, agile forces can disrupt traditional power hierarchies, forcing opponents to invest heavily in countermeasures. For Ukraine, this success reinforces the effectiveness of integrating innovation with tactical audacity, demonstrating that modern military engagements are no longer solely defined by size, firepower, or traditional dominance. In essence, the Buyan-M strike is not just a tactical victory, it is a message. Asymmetry, intelligence, and innovation can redefine naval strategy and challenge the assumed supremacy of powerful fleets. Russia's naval planners must now contend with a reality where even the most secure zones are penetrable, and where small, high-precision tools can create outsized strategic consequences. Historical context and precedents. The Buyan-M operation is far from an isolated incident. It represents the culmination of a broader trend in modern naval and asymmetric warfare. Historically, navies have relied on large, heavily armored vessels to project power, secure coastlines, and dominate strategic waterways. During the Cold War, the Black Sea Fleet served as a symbol of Soviet and later Russian maritime supremacy. Sevastopol, with its extensive fortifications, repair facilities, and deep-water ports, was considered untouchable, a rear area where high-value warships could prepare, refuel, and launch long-range strikes with near impunity. However, asymmetric tactics have steadily eroded this perception. In 2008, during the Russo-Georgian conflict, small, unmanned reconnaissance drones demonstrated the potential to gather actionable intelligence, foreshadowing the strategic importance of unmanned systems in contested waters. By 2014, following Russia's annexation of Crimea, Ukrainian forces began experimenting with improvised drone strikes and low-cost maritime attacks, exploiting narrow waterways and the constrained operational environment of the Azov and Black Seas. The July 2025 offshore oil rig strike near Crimea marked a turning point. For the first time, Ukraine deployed FPV drones to neutralize a strategically critical radar installation at sea, signaling a shift from reconnaissance to lethal precision strikes. Experts noted that these operations forced Russia to divert resources to rear area security and counter-drone development, raising operational costs and complicating strategic calculations. In this context, the Buyan-M incident is both a continuation and an escalation. Unlike previous operations, it targeted a fully armed and fortified warship in a supposedly secure port. Analysts describe it as a textbook example of asymmetric targeting, leveraging small, inexpensive tools to exploit critical vulnerabilities, achieve strategic effects, and impose operational dilemmas on a numerically or technologically superior adversary. Historically, naval powers have underestimated the value of small, agile platforms in confined waters. From the torpedo boats of World War I to modern unmanned surface and aerial vehicles, history repeatedly demonstrates that unconventional approaches can neutralize conventional superiority. The Buyan-M attack is now a contemporary echo of these lessons, reinforcing the principle that technological agility, tactical innovation, and precise execution often outweigh sheer size and firepower in modern naval engagements. By connecting past and present, it becomes evident that the Ukrainian strategy is not improvised. It is informed by decades of naval precedent, intelligence analysis, and technological evolution. The operation highlights a paradigm shift. Rear area sanctuaries are no longer guaranteed, and even the most formidable warships can be compromised by smart, low-cost, and precisely executed operations. The execution of the operation. At exactly 3:20 a.m. on August 28, 2025, the Buyan-M warship lay docked at Temryuk Bay, its massive steel hull gleaming under dim floodlights. This $80 million vessel, a key asset of Russia's Black Sea fleet, had just returned from a high-value missile strike, its deck still humming with the residual energy of engines, cooling systems, and reloading procedures. 8 Kalibr-NK cruise missiles, each worth over $1 million and capable of striking nearly any Ukrainian city, were being readied for future operations. Officers gathered in the mess deck, raising glasses of vodka in quiet celebration. Meanwhile, part of the combat crew rotated shifts, some dozing at their stations, unaware that the bay was no longer as secure as they believed. Just 6 miles away, a small, civilian-marked speedboat cut silently through the water. At first glance, it seemed an ordinary fishing vessel, but inside the cockpit were 2 Ukrainian soldiers from the 73rd Naval Center, dressed in inconspicuous fishing jackets and Russian-style caps. In the storage compartment, hidden beneath what appeared to be styrofoam boxes of herring, were 2 Beaver FPV drones, each equipped with 8-pound armor-piercing warheads, night vision cameras, and fully autonomous navigation systems independent of GPS. At 3:27 a.m., as the boat approached 3 miles from the target, the soldiers deployed the drones using a dual-strike method. The first drone, codenamed Thunder, targeted the radar tower, programmed to blind the ship temporarily and create a critical vulnerability. The second drone, Vidplata, Retribution, followed a 30-degree offset, aimed directly at the Kalibr missile launch system poised to disable the ship's primary offensive capability. By 3:29 a.m., Thunder launched. Its high-speed electric propeller activated, propelling at mere feet above the water's surface, perfectly skimming radar detection angles. Seconds later, Vidplata followed, maintaining precise separation and altitude, ready to strike once the radar was compromised. At 3:31 a.m., Thunder struck. A blinding flash erupted on the radar mast, sparks flew across the deck, and shrapnel rained into the sea. The Buyan-M's surveillance systems failed instantly. Officers scrambled to regain control, but the fire and chaos rendered automated defenses inoperable. 6 seconds later, Vidplata struck the missile launch bay. The explosion ripped open hatch number 3, igniting the Kalibr-NK missiles and destroying the central fire control systems. Steel bent, smoke surged, and the vessel tilted, signaling catastrophic internal damage. Within 7 minutes, the Buyan-M had lost all offensive and defensive capabilities. Communications channels were disrupted, requests for reinforcements streamed in from the Black Sea Fleet, but the warship could no longer function as a strike platform. Ukrainian intelligence released clear drone footage, confirming the dual strike's precision and effectiveness. This operation exemplified the power of asymmetric tactics: small, low-cost, highly precise unmanned vehicles neutralizing a multi-million-dollar warship, reshaping the operational environment of the Sea of Azov. The Buyan-M, once a symbol of Russian naval dominance, was now a testament to the effectiveness of strategic innovation and meticulous planning. The Ukrainian operation against the Admiral K showcased meticulous planning, cutting-edge technology, and the courage to challenge conventional naval assumptions. By striking at the most critical points with precision and speed, Ukraine shifted the local balance of power in a matter of minutes, turning the narrative of invulnerability on its head. If you found this deep dive into modern asymmetric warfare insightful, make sure to like this video, share it with others interested in global security, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more high-stakes military news, analytics, and strategic updates.